This video might be a bit messier and more passionate than usual, but it's because I have a lot to say on the topic and it's something I've been thinking about for years now. Fortnite is a game that I've cared about for the longest time, so none of what I'm about to say is coming from a place of negativity or hate. I've made friends through Fortnite, I've made memories in Fortnite, and so I actually like it quite a lot. If you want more proof, just look at my locker. I don't know whether to be proud or ashamed of how much there is here. But what I do know is I need to talk about the state that Fortnite is currently in. Fortnite is one of the biggest games in the world, and yet, in my opinion, it's kind of killing its own reputation. Not just with me, but with the wider fanbase, and even amongst those within the gaming industry as well. The story that has unfolded over the past 2 years or so has been one that we're all familiar with. That classic case of corporate interests clashing with the desires of the creatives and the players, but it's taking place on a scale bigger than I ever expected that we would get. It's a story of how jealousy and imitation can lead to a loss of identity, how desperation for growth rots away at the things we care about, and an interesting case study on what happens when two gaming giants occupy the same space at the same time. So, chances are you've heard of both of these titans. That's Roblox and Fortnite. In case you somehow haven't, then congratulations on your safe passage to Earth, enjoy your stay. Fortnite is a battle royale game where you drop on an island to try and survive against 99 other players to be the last player standing. Launching in late 2017, Fortnite pierced through pop culture in just a few months. Within a year, the game was unavoidably popular, becoming a hotspot topic for memes, videos, and even music.
Victory Royale.
By 2019, the game was massive enough to be featured in Avengers Endgame as a gag where the characters are seen playing the game together. That was years ago though, and times have changed as we'll discuss. As for Roblox, this isn't one game, it's both a game platform and a creation system. If Fortnite is a board game with set objectives and rules like Operation or Monopoly, then Roblox is a pad of paper and a box of crayons. It can be a game, but someone has to make it first. Roblox is absolutely enormous, with an infinite library of games to play created by anyone from teens with a few hours to spare learning game development, to entire corporations making their own Roblox experiences. It has been hugely popular with children for years now, with Roblox-based games like Dress to Impress, Steal a Brain Rot, Grow a Garden, Brookhaven RP, and Adopt Me having hundreds of millions of players between them. It's practically the default setting for any child born after 2015 to play Roblox, and it's showing no signs of slowing down with huge adoption from older teen and adult audiences as well. Roblox is enormous now, and probably the most popular game in terms of raw player counts on the planet. We're practically a few generations away from Robux being the leading global currency. But it didn't always used to be like this. You see, the throne that Roblox rules from is one that it usurped. It's one that was formerly owned by Fortnite. It's hard to exaggerate how much Fortnite completely dominated the live service gaming market. Perhaps the best way to prove it would be to show you the things they popularized, so here's just a few of them. Battle passes were added to Fortnite in December 2017, now they're literally everywhere. The battle royale genre was almost non-existent until Fortnite and PUBG tag teamed the industry into putting one into every other game ever. Fortnite made popular the idea of adding masses of collaborations to games, and so now Burger King is in Call of Duty, Rick and Morty are in Rainbow Six Siege, and SpongeBob is in Sonic Racing. Putting the industry trends aside, Fortnite also has some genuinely impressive technological feats behind it. You might not think on the surface just by looking at it, but consider the mechanics that are required for the live events Fortnite hosts to millions of players at a time. The server is hosting millions of people globally, all synchronized to experience the same in-game events at the same time, with perfectly timed visuals, music, effects, and even meta elements, like in the End event in 2019 that saw the island get engulfed in real time for all players who were online at the time by a black hole that actually knocked the game servers offline for 2 days. Pretty much everything about Fortnite was built for engagement and spectacle. From a gameplay perspective, only having one potential winner makes our silly animal brains get incredibly invested in trying to win, purely to feel the glory of being special and better than everyone else. Combine that with the battle pass that kept you coming back to earn the rewards you invested in, the horizons of potential collaborations constantly getting broader as time went on, leaving us wondering how far it could possibly go. Even the marketing put into promoting all of these things was timely and engaging, with the entire player base on the hook for practically every drop. And I was there. I still have the skin in heavy use from my locker that I won my very first game in. I've got top tier battle pass skin rewards from season 3 and onwards, and all these umbrellas from seasons where I bagged the victory royale. Fortnite was such a natural phenomenon for all of these reasons that it had ingrained itself into meme culture and consequently pop culture as a whole. It was hard to scroll through any social media app and not see Fortnite dances in 2019, and real-world pre-existing trends and dances that Fortnite interpreted and resold ended up being amplified by 1,000 around the world. Even its sound effects became iconic. It was the perfect combination of factors all at once, especially for children and younger players. It's rewarding to play, funny to joke about, free, multi-platform, and it was popular with influencers and streamers. It was the perfect storm, no pun intended. But nothing lasts forever, and Fortnite's bombastic culture domination was hiding a growing rival. We're switching sides for a minute now. Roblox has been around for a while, but it was rising all throughout the latter half of the 2010s, and whilst growth was slow initially, it increased in momentum rapidly as the decade carried on. It's hard to overstate exactly how explosively Roblox has grown, so let's use some numbers. In 2018, when Fortnite was first taking off, 14 people were signing up to Roblox per second. That's pretty impressive. In 2025 though, that number was 95 people per second signing up. That means in the entirety of last year, 2.47 billion new Roblox accounts were created. That is equivalent to more than a quarter of Earth's population signing up in just 365 days. Granted, a good chunk of those will be 12-year-olds trying to scam 6-year-olds, but it's an eye-watering figure nonetheless. Whilst Fortnite ruled culture and conversation, Roblox's player count was passively racking up, and it got fed even further by the pandemic. Suddenly, hundreds of millions of children around the world were spending time at home instead of at school, and using a laptop or a tablet for their learning, devices which coincidentally can also host Roblox. It's worth noting here that in the same year that this started, Fortnite was removed from mobile storefronts as part of a legal battle that we'll discuss later. So you can't get Fortnite on an iPad or an iPhone during the pandemic, but you can get Roblox. And this explosion in players coincided with a boom in the types of games and the experiences that could be found on Roblox, which itself brought in even more people as new niches of games were being found. This expansion of experiences combined with an army of children who were being fused to their devices either through long distance teaching, digital babysitting, or honestly a combination of both, has raised and continues to raise an entire generation as we speak. And it's been like this for years. Kids now are still playing Roblox, and those that were teenagers when Roblox was blowing up are often still playing Roblox. I'll just add here as a quick acknowledgement that it can be strange sometimes for those of us who didn't grow up with Roblox to see the appeal in it. I grew up playing Spyro, Pokemon, Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, anything like that. So when I'm looking at virtual experiences like a +1 fat per second, I was honestly scratching my head a bit. That is, until I played it and I became a gravitational force of nature. 1v1 me. Now that I've tried it, I can say that Roblox games are designed very different to others, like Fortnite. The aim in Roblox is engagement, which, yeah, other live service games do this as well actually, but Roblox amps that up by 1,000,000. Its digital currency is pretty cheap compared to most others, and so because of that, its games are absolutely packed with these microtransactions to do literally just anything that will keep you invested for longer. They are genuinely shameless with the gambling and the spending mechanics. They've got loot boxes, they've got daily rewards, they got paid power-ups just everywhere at every moment in most of the popular games, regardless of what genre it is. It's kind of nauseating. Sure, we get ads and microtransactions in real games too, but when I'm actually playing a round of Overwatch, there's no option to just throw coins at the game to kill everyone in the lobby or boost your weapon power, because that would be ridiculous. If I wanted to ruin everyone's fun, I'll just play Jetpack Cat. Roblox though, it's a lawless land outside of modern gaming norms, where paying to win isn't just an option, it's honestly highly encouraged. Thankfully for us all though, in a sentence I'm sure I'm not about to contradict right away, Fortnite is a curated experience. It's a game itself that stands on its own as a welcoming place where V-Bucks are only ever spent on cosmetics, and its games are based around skill rather than player spending or engagement. I'm contradicting that last sentence right away. In December 2023, something happened in the Fortnite lore. And yes, that's a real thing, it's really cool. That changed not just the story, but the entire game forever. The Big Bang. This was an in-game event that saw the 0 Point implode, which destroyed the entire Fortnite island as a new Big Bang created an entire universe from scratch, with galaxies formed in every direction. This isn't just a story event, because it introduced something sinister to Fortnite. It gave us the multiverse. This was Fortnite's big pivot, the birth of a metaverse. Fortnite was no longer just a battle royale game with some silly custom maps. It's a place. It's an experience. Sounding familiar? Fortnite was Lego. Fortnite was a music game from the creators of Rock Band. And Fortnite was a racing game from the minds behind Rocket League, just to name a few. Non-battle royale experiences were being given the spotlight for the first time, and the consequences are exactly why I'm speaking into this microphone right now. Just for the sake of transparency, custom maps were technically started months earlier in Fortnite before the Big Bang event, but they were simple and arcadey. This was something much stronger. Fortnite wasn't just hosting other modes, it was platforming them, uplifting them. They were the central focus of the branding and marketing. This loading screen that I'm showing you terrorized millions of us. For years, they wouldn't let us forget. Fortnite's shift to a metaverse approach caught the eyes of the world, and the developers, Epic Games, were encouraging others to create new game experiences within Fortnite for others to play. And this is where the story goes exactly how you think it will. The blood, or the slurp juice, was in the water. It was too late. Throughout 2024 and continuing through up to now, Fortnite's ecosystem has been gradually flooded by those looking to honestly leech from Epic Games' rewards program. That might sound like harsh phrasing, but I have my reasons. Epic Games doesn't incentivize player fun or experience. They reward creators based on retention. As such, these alleged games within Fortnite immediately began adopting Roblox game practices, as they've proven to be engaging, and it's only gotten worse since then. Whilst initially they were exclusively free to enjoy, if you can call it that, Fortnite has now introduced V-Bucks spending into these creator-made modes to further incentivize their creation, which has gone exactly as you'd expect it to. Loot boxes are being sold with V-Bucks to children. Gameplay is entirely skippable if you'll spend the money, and winning games is doable by pretty much anyone for a price. Not in the main Battle Royale mode, that is untouched, but in these side modes, in these custom made maps. And that's why I'm using the word leech, because yeah, there are creators making passion projects within Fortnite, and that is honestly amazing. I support them, they should do that. There's some really impressive ones, and those people have bright futures. However, more often than not, especially with the games that Epic is promoting to players, what we end up with are engagement farms created using AI art assets as there's no talent anywhere to be found, which are driven by monetization to prey on those who find appeal in these games, to drop their V-Bucks, keep logging in every day, and letting Epic Games fund them for having people, especially children, on hooks. So that was their big shift. Fortnite has reinvented itself as a platform rather than a singular game. In a sentence that I'm sure I'm not about to contradict, this went very well. This did not go very well. In case it wasn't clear just yet, Epic's gradual shift to promoting players to visit Creator Islands, starting with that December 2023 multiversal explosion, and continuing in prevalence to now, where they promote AI brain rot maps on their social media, was all done with a single goal in mind: to become Roblox. You see, as Roblox has been rising in popularity with its army of children and former children marching to the beat of its drum, Fortnite has been struggling. Its player count, which is still undeniably huge, has been dropping constantly since that 2023 explosion, and only really spiking during major events like when chapters end and at Christmas. It's also suffered huge losses financially as it became unavailable to play on mobile devices thanks to legal battles against Apple and Google that cost Epic Games millions of dollars to pursue. Just in case you didn't know, Epic took Apple and Google to court because it accused them of taking too much money from developers when players spend money in apps, amongst other things. And fair play to them, Epic have caused genuine change in the market with that court case. But instead of seeing that player decline following the Big Bang, the Multiverse, and the financial struggles that Fortnite has admitted to having as a sign to revert back to what makes Fortnite itself and popular and what kept its audience happy, Epic Games has only quadrupled down on its plan to keep powering these custom experiences and push limits even further. They recently announced that AI voiced and generated NPCs will soon be coming to these already slop-packed modes, which I'm sure definitely won't be used to eventually exploit children from more of their family's money. This is a path that Fortnite is committed to sticking to at any cost, and it's already sacrificed a lot to get here. Remember those December 2023 multiverse modes I mentioned, the Lego one, the racing one? Well, one of them is being killed, the other is having its branding erased with one of its experimental modes cut, and the only one left standing and untouched for now is Lego. These are just game modes though. The destruction that has been caused by Fortnite's change of course goes far bigger. For regular players, V-Bucks prices have been increased and their availability as in-game rewards decreased to push the player base to buy more and more. The most affected group though by Fortnite's change in business practices is Epic's own workforce. If you follow industry news, you might have seen this, but in March this year, Epic Games laid off over 1,000 employees in sweeping job cuts that left few unscathed. Nobody was safe from Epic, with the masterminds behind the Battle Pass, the narrative, bug fixes, and even the creator of Fortnite's mascot Jonesy all axed, without remorse. As for Epic's reasoning, they say it's because Fortnite costs more to run than it earns back, especially when it's in competition with other increasingly engaging forms of entertainment. I wonder who they mean. What's being left out of the discussion here though is why the cost of running Fortnite has gone up. Yes, there are lots of factors. It's true that competition is fierce now. I don't deny that. The industry is in a rough place overall anyway. Player spending habits have changed. However, in the last 3 years, third-party Fortnite creators that make the custom maps were paid $722 million in what Epic calls engagement payouts. This absurd amount of money is only gonna rise further with the new V-Bucks payment options in the creator-made modes and with Epic Games' refusal to reverse its multiversal message. This is a huge amount of money that could have gone towards keeping staff and continuing to develop Fortnite as its own individual game, but instead it's being pumped into these maps that are just hijacking the brain chemistry of children to keep them stuck to the screen in a desperate bid to make Fortnite the go-to place as a games platform. Even besides the arguments that I've made so far, we can tell that's their goal based on the people that Epic Games fired. It wasn't just general staff, it was key figures behind Fortnite's very own iconography and the brand as we know it. These pivotal Fortnite workers shaped the game. They defined what Fortnite is when we think of it, what story it had to tell, and how it came to be known in our wider culture. Yet, Epic cut them off anyway. Their sacking represents a change in the mindset behind Fortnite's identity. It isn't trying to be the Fortnite that we know anymore. As all of this unfolds, Epic themselves continue to deliver corporate speak lies to try and save face with its audience who, some of them like me, were just there to enjoy a great battle royale experiences. They say that they're just trying to pay the bills, real quote by the way, then give out almost $1 billion to creators of AI slop maps rather than their own team members that built the actual game. They said rocket racing was here to stay, but then they scrapped it when it wasn't earning enough and they needed more money. They also said after the layoffs that they want to build Fortnite with an awesome story, but they fired their narrative lead at the exact same time. Perhaps the saddest part of it all though is how fruitless it is. Fortnite has been gutted of its talent by Epic, who are also trying to erase the game's former identity and replace it with this new vision. And that brings us to our last point of discussion. After all of this, it's just an exercise in futility. Fortnite wants to be Roblox, but it's not gonna be. All this mess, controversy, disappointment, brain rots, and uproar has been done to commit Fortnite to its path of being the next gaming platform. Yet, in my opinion, that's just not gonna happen. So let's go over why before we wrap all of this up. Roblox has spent the last few years being playable on billions of mobile devices and growing a dedicated player base in the leading market that Epic cut Fortnite from to get into that battle with Apple and Google. Whilst they did secure some big victories here that, again, are commendable, they also let years go by where Roblox achieved cultural domination amongst an entire generation with less big budget competition. Roblox now has billions of registered accounts with hundreds of millions of users. The player count of just one Roblox brain rot experience is high enough to body Fortnite's all-time peaks in an instant. That audience has already made it the new cultural leader, and it's not going to be overthrown by somebody doing the same thing. Roblox took control and now it has investment from major companies and brands. IKEA has a virtual shop in Roblox. K-pop superstars twice have created a virtual theme park, and Dress to Impress broke through the culture enough to even have direct collaborations with Lady Gaga, Charli XCX, Wicked.
I didn't know that was happening.
I've seen it, yeah.
That's really powerful.
Cat's Eye, just to name a few. Roblox is making money here that Fortnite isn't, with players that Fortnite doesn't have, and Roblox was built for it. Then there's the monetization model. Roblox was built with its young audience and simple gameplay in mind, meaning its currency is cheap and dynamically valued based on the experience. Fortnite, however, invented V-Bucks as a premium currency. It was made for big purchases of standardized prices. This gives V-Bucks a perceived higher value, which means spending it on frivolous gameplay modifiers and gimmicks is a lot less enticing to the average user. Impulse spending on Roblox comes in the form of 12 Robux to double your progression, or 25 Robux on a shirt of your favorite character, with questionable legality. Whilst impulse spending on Fortnite requires hundreds of V-Bucks that we've been trained to think would be far better spent on its valuable and official cosmetics. Fortnite is known for doing one thing and doing it well. It created an empire from the Battle Royale experience. There's a reason why Thor in Avengers was playing the Battle Royale and not Fortnite Murder Mystery or Steal a Brain Rot. Yet, all of that cultural cachet that Fortnite has earned itself is being traded in to attempt a reinvention of a thing that already exists and is already doing it better. Fortnite's core audience wants a battle royale. We enjoy challenge and narrative and high quality shooter gameplay loops, and we don't need babysitting or engagement farms. And for those out there that do need that, they're probably already on Roblox, so it feels pointless to try. And yet trying is all Fortnite does now. Epic Games has gone so far to try and force its metaverse approach into relevancy that it's partnering with Disney for, and this is real, a Disney-themed extraction shooter. Unsurprisingly, the remaining workers at Epic being forced to work on this aren't entirely infused by it, according to insider reports, but Fortnite is so desperate to get validation from the Roblox-minded that they're funneling resources into a Mickey Mouse-ified marathon. Plus, they're always working on more collaborations, and each one is kind of losing more magic as the novelty wears thin on playing as other characters in Fortnite, for me at least. And this dangling of franchise-based carrots has been enough to keep Fortnite's devout content creators kind of placated while the game they made a career from is being torn apart, but I don't think it's working on everyone. It's not working on me, and I'd love to know if you relate to any of this too, so feel free to let me know in the comments. We don't even have time today to get into Epic's other business ventures where they're burning money, which also seem equally misfortunate and pointless. They're trying to be Steam with the Epic Games Store. They've bought games like Fall Guys to try and force them into monetization hotspots and failed there too. And then there's the legal fights against the mobile tech giants, which are noble and valuable to the industry, but they're not going to benefit Epic if nobody's interested in the game anymore. So, here we are, one long rant later. Fortnite is really trying its hardest to become Roblox, and it's doing it in the most grotesque and shameless way possible. After trying to do it naturally, going so far as to weave it into Fortnite's narrative, Epic has opted to cut out their artistic heart and soul for all to see as a sacrifice dedicated to your 5-year-old cousin who they desperately hope will swipe their parents' credit card on some VBuck transactions to grow virtual cabbage faster. It's a mutation that some of its existing players don't support, its targeted audience has no time or care for, and that even its developers don't want to force on people. The only people who want this at the scale it's being pushed are the higher ups, which conveniently have been untouched by the layoffs affecting Epic employees. That's a fun coincidence. Fortnite was my go-to game for years, but its current state is too humiliating to see. Logging onto a game I used to be proud to play with my friends is now a ritual of shame, with pop-up advertisements for brain rot character skins and cosmetic bundle prices that would make even EA blush. I think it's time to move on, because Epic is clearly committed. Maybe I should just find another multiplayer game worthy of my time and investment. There are millions of choices after all. I like shooters, I like evolving narratives, and there are plenty of those for me and people like me to turn to, so I guess all that's left to ask is, where are we dropping? Thank you so much for watching this dissection of Fortnite's pivot. I hope it was at least somewhat interesting. If you agree or disagree, then I'd still like to know either way, so drop a comment and tell me. I do try to respond to most of them so we can get a conversation going. And before you go, a subscribe would also go a really long way in helping me pursue my lifelong dream of being a YouTube creator and being able to create a community outside of algorithms. I hate to ask, but it's either this or create my own engagement bait AI Fortnite map, and I think I still got a bit of dignity left before I do that. See you next time!